Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside the Force. Hannah Burr with me. How are you?
Doing well, and how are you?
I am good. We are getting ready to talk about the series finale, don't know,
Not clear.
of Skeleton Crew, which just aired this week. So that'll be the big topic of this discussion on this episode. Got some rumors to talk about. And of course, to share some other little things that I'll bring up as well. But of course, thanks to our patrons as always for the support and everything you guys have done this past year. And then I know 2025 is, I know it's got the thing about it is, Hannah, is I feel like 2025 doesn't really have that much Star Wars really coming out. So
We
we're
don't
really going to have to start talking about all kinds of other stuff, you know?
we always say, "Oh man, what are we going to talk about?" We always find something
We
to
do.
talk about. But also, I don't know. I think we're going to get a surprise or two this year.
I think we'll get a surprise animated series, but it won't be out until later in the year, you know.
Right.
But I feel like there's going to be some gaps, some pretty good gaps, you know. But speaking of our patrons, I want to say something. But me and Hannah were just talking about a little bit off camera here. Is, you know, I've been thinking about a Discord for a while, but I kind of dismissed it because I don't know. It's just, you know, it's hard just to do all these things, right? So, but we did have a patron. Brandon mentioned about starting one and getting on one. So, look, I'm all for it if especially if the patrons want to do it, because I'm going to do whatever kind of what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's do it. So I created an Inside the Force server, and for our patrons, you know, we'll start there. I'll get on Patreon, guys, and I'll ask for y'all's, I guess, handles on. Do they call them handles on there too? Probably.
Username, handle.
Yeah, and then I'll send invites to y'all, and you guys get into the server, and we'll start creating channels. We'll start talking about all these different things. It'd be good because that would be a good spot. Hannah, you brought it up too, like a place for at least get some suggestions for like council sessions and what's everybody reading, and you know what can we talk about there, and because we do have some other topics and shows that we're doing, so
Yeah,
that'd be good. So let's try it. It's 2025. Let's get it into it, and let's do it. And it's funny because I was telling you this. You're kind of young for this, but like I always saw Discord as, you know, it's basically a chat room, right? I mean, which is how this whole like social media thing started. This all started in chat rooms,
right.
You know, like instant messenger, and then you would go on and have these message. Well, they call them message boards there, right? It's all text based. You go in there, but it wasn't like. In fact, I think about it is I don't really believe it was like. Well, it was live in a sense, I guess, but it was like you're like typing a message into, and it would send to everybody, and then you would comment on it, and it was just a message board. That's all it was, and it was a place I remember when. Way back when I was, you know, like 20 something years ago, it was like I was kind of starting in the filmmaking, and that was kind of how you kind of shared your production, like with people that were like interested in knowing when you were shooting, and you know when the movie's coming out, and you can post like the poster in there and stuff like that, right? Message boards, and people would comment on it, stuff like that. So honestly, to me, like Discord, when I was kind of first learning about it, I was like, God, this is like an old school kind of thing, you know? Like, it's not like, I don't know. I guess I don't know. But it's pretty massive. Apparently, there's like everybody's almost on Discord now. It seems like.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing about Discord too, especially for something like Inside the Force, is that on Facebook it's kind of hard to organize.
Yeah.
People's thoughts and who's posting what, and so this way it just creates a more organized, centralized system.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I play D&D on Discord.
Yeah, I know. You were saying you were on Discord, so I'm like, well,
Mhm.
okay. Well, if you're on it, then I should get on it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, yeah. So we'll share a lot that with our listeners and our at least our patrons right now, and then our other listeners. If you want to get on, I guess just send us a message, or I don't know. I'm still kind of learning how it all works. So I guess do people request to join the server? Is that how it works? Or
It can be. So what I've seen some people do is they embed an invitation or a link to the server in like a post or something saying,
oh
"Hey,
yeah,
if
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
join my Discord, click this link," and that link will take you directly to the server.
Gotcha. Okay, so we'll look at that.
But
And
some people can request to join too. It's a
yeah, okay.
yeah. It's
All
been
right.
a
Well,
while since I've been a
that's
moderator on Discord, so I gotta refresh how all this works.
yeah. Well, we'll get that going and share that with everybody.
Hmm.
All right. So there's that. Sorry, my office is a little like I've done my best every night since this weekend. I painted it, so I finally painted it because I mentioned I was going to paint it. I painted it kind of this grayish. It's kind of got a little blue in it. It almost feels like, but it's supposed to be called. It's called Wall Street, and it's supposed to be like this nice gray, calming color, which I really like it.
I like it too. It's very Galaxy-esque.
Yeah, right. It kind of fits the room, right? So
Oh
I
yeah.
moved stuff around. I got the bookshelf that used to be here is over on that wall over there, and I got to hang my posters back up. But I kind of reorganized a little bit, and yeah. So I shared a kind of before and after pictures on Patreon, and yeah. So it gives me a chance to really kind of redo my room and clean it up a little bit because of course it gets dusty in here and all that. But yeah, it's nice. I feel good about that. So
Good.
it took me like a few hours because I hate paint. I like rolling. I hate edging. Like edging is the worst. I don't have any
I
patience
don't-
for it.
the first time I full on painted a wall was when we were painting one of the cop shop sets for production over the summer.
Oh wow, yeah,
We had to caulk and get the panels together, and it
yeah.
was a whole thing.
I don't mind it. Rolling is the easiest thing, obviously, but
Oh
like
yeah.
edging is horrible because I think I can roll pretty good. But
Yeah.
anyway,
It looks even from here, so there you go.
yeah, it's even. It's definitely once you get two coats on, it's like it covers it up. But yeah, and it's got me the opportunity to like, because of course my wife thinks I have too many little trinkets everywhere, So I did kind of minimize a little bit and put some back in the closet. So anyway, cleaned it up a little bit for her.
All right, there you go.
Okay. So there's that. Now a couple little pieces of news, rumors, I guess that's going out there before we get into Skeleton Crew.
Mm-hmm.
It's floating around a lot right now that apparently Ewan McGregor is going to make an appearance in Ahsoka season 2.
Okay. How? Like flashback, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it'd be flashback, Clone Wars, Obi-Wan.
Oh man. Is season 2 of Ahsoka just us going back to the Clone Wars and then season 3 is back in the present?
Yeah, we mentioned last week that Balin's skull got recasted, so
Yeah.
obviously there's something going on that planet they're at.
Right.
But it seems like there's going to be a lot of flashbacks again. So you're talking Hayden Christensen apparently is back. The little girl, I can't remember, Greenblatt, I think it's her last name, but she is playing Ahsoka again.
Ariana
Ahsoka.
Blatt or something like that?
Yeah. I think it was Ariana Greenblatt. And then you got Ewan coming back. So you got all three of them now, which is crazy.
Is Tamara Morrison back?
I don't know. I haven't heard that yet. I mean, either way, his voice would be back,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they're going to show his face or anything. But that's it's interesting to think that. I mean, you got to think. That kind of came up in the first season because she was in the world between worlds. So is that something that happens again? Obviously, does she go back into the world between worlds, or is this a whole other concept because she is in another galaxy, right?
Right.
Is there another method of getting flashbacks, or maybe she's just dreaming? I don't know. It's totally interesting, and I guess it's hopefully there's meaning to it. I think there was real meaning to why we saw it in the last time because Anakin's whole story and becoming Vader and things like that and trying to tempt her. But this is Filoni says he doesn't do things just for fan service, but this feels like fan service.
I was about to say, really, Filoni?
Yeah.
Really? You don't do things for fan service?
Right. I know it.
Come on. There's always a hint of fan service in Star Wars. I don't care who you are. There's always a hint of it.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, it's what's popular right now, and I think Ewan McGregor is popular right now. So you put popular people in stuff, and which is totally fine. I mean, if it works, it works.
Exactly.
So there's that, which I think is good news. Anything with Ewan McGregor. I mean, I want him in another Obi-Wan series, but we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
The other rumor or the other news apparently is the villain for the Mandalorian and Grogu film is rumored to be a bounty hunter named Embo, E-M-B-O. And you should recognize that name if you watched the Clone Wars, because he has been in the Clone Wars several episodes, by the way. And he's got a bowcaster. He's a Kuzo, I guess, species. And yeah, I mean, again, he's been in several episodes. Looks like about half a dozen or so. And I've got to go refresh my memory and see some of these, but I do remember what he looks like and I do remember what he is. But anyway, he's the villain. Now we know that if this is true, he's in it. They've casted, the star of the bear to be the voice of Rod of the Hutt. So we're starting to kind of get. So there's an older Hutt there. There's Embo. I mean, Hannah, to me, I don't know. It feels like it's not necessarily going to be about Thrawn and the whole Imperial thing. It seems like it's going to be more centered around bounty hunters and cartels.
Which makes me go, why? Because I thought we ended that chapter with Grogu and Mando. I thought that chapter was done. Mm-hmm. And the more and more I hear about this movie, the more and more you're right, it's starting to shape a certain way. But one thing I have learned is that things are not always what they seem. So maybe this is a tie into Thrawn. I have no idea.
Yeah, or it could be definitely leading into, like, it could end as Thrawn, appears, because
right.
I feel like this may take place while that whole thing is happening.
Yeah.
In Ahsoka,
It has to tie in some way.
You would think. I mean, the whole Shadow Council, I think is what they called it, with all these Imperials. I just feel like that's got to play into it, but it may not play into it till later, so.
Yeah.
I ordered this actually before Christmas, but it just came. I finally got this book, which is the character encyclopedia for the Clone Wars. And I've been waiting. They actually had this book for a while out, but I waited until the series was wrapped because it's like updated and everything. It's got everything in here,
Right.
Since season 7. So anyway, Embo is in here. You know, I was looking in here.
Any tips in his description?
I mean, he's. It says he's. It just says he's a hulking Kuzo bounty hunter with a fearsome reputation as an expert tracker, sniper, and muscle for hire. He is known for his distinctive war helmet, which doubles as a boomerang-style weapon and a shield, and for his deadly pet, an Anuba named Marok. Or Marok, whatever, Marrok.
Marok is not just Marok. Marok is the reincarnation of this poison.
Embo has no code beyond getting paid. He works alongside Anakin Skywalker as part of Suji's crew on Felucia, but later battles the Jedi in pursuit of Rush Clovis on Scipio. Near the end of the Clone Wars, he joins up with the mercenary crew led by young Boba Fett.
Okay, so he probably has a connection with the Hutts.
Probably. So, you know, if Rada's in it, you know, as he's an older Hutt now, right? He's not young. He's not a young kid anymore. So, I mean, I guess he either could, he could maybe hire Embo or be working for Embo. Or Embo could be working for him.
Do you think we might get Boba Fett in here?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not, but yeah, you know, I'm wondering if Rada, because when we obviously with Boba Fett taking over Jabba's palace, I don't see it. I mean, you know, maybe I don't see why he wouldn't ever want to go back and try to get his dad's palace, but.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It could also be he's like, find the Mandalorian, and all of a sudden they're after Mando instead of Boba.
Right. Yeah. Or there could be still a bounty on Grogu or something.
I feel like that chapter, like, I'm not saying that might not be the thing, but I've always felt like people hunting Grogu, that chapter's done.
Yeah, it should be. Definitely should
be, but who knows?
Yeah, I think that as well. But this is interesting. I wonder, you know, I'll be curious to hear at some point Filoni's decision about Embo.
Yes.
And having him in here. This does say in his description a little bit that he, at one point, the group was hired. I do want to go back and read the Dark Disciple again, because apparently he's in Dark Disciple.
He is?
Yeah, he was part of the group hired by Asajj to help her break out Quinlan Voss from Count Dooku's castle on Serenno.
Oh. Huh.
So yeah, because he was Boba Fett. So, but Dark Disciple is another one we do want to go back and re-listen to that one.
Yeah, gotta re-listen to that one at this point.
Awesome. So there you go. Embo is maybe the villain in Mandalorian and Grogu. Not for sure yet. We'll see. I guess everybody can probably expect to see something from Celebration that comes out in April. I think that's probably where we'll get the first look at Grogu and Mando, and
probably
hear from what's happening in that movie. So, unfortunately, if they release something, hopefully they released it in the public and not just people that are able to go to Japan to see this.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So, okay, so there you go. And let's update everybody on upcoming publication releases. February 25th, Reign of the Empire. The Acolyte has a book called Wayseeker on May 6th, and then Trials of the Jedi June 17th, which wraps up Phase 3 and the entire pretty much High Republic series. Comics. Okay, so Battle of Jakku is still going on. The third part of that, called Last Stand, number 3, came out this past week. Number 4 is next week. January 29th, you'll see Star Wars A New Legacy, number 1, and then Ewoks, number 4. And then 1st of February, which is February 5th, Star Wars Legacy of Vader, number 1, which is the Kylo Ren book that takes place between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Ahsoka, number 8, on February 19th. And then The High Republic has another comic series coming out called Fear of the Jedi, number 1, will come out February 19th as well. So got some comics there finishing out before kind of a new series kicks in here soon. I know Charles Soule is supposed to be doing the Jedi Knight series that's going to be coming out here soon. So be on the lookout for that in 2025. Okay. I got games here. Nothing. No. I haven't heard anything on the news either as far as games go. I'm still playing a little bit of Outlaws. I did finish Outlaws. The story. So that is something, Hannah, because if you don't have Outlaws yet, do you?
Not yet, no.
Oh. So that's something we could do Beyond the Saga as well, like we did with Jedi Fallen Order. You could watch the cutscenes.
Absolutely. I will definitely do that.
Which I need to go back and probably just watch it like that because I did take some detours, did some other side things, because there is a main mission, a main quest,
right,
storyline. It's not that compelling, but it's not bad either. So, I think that's something we could do a Beyond the Saga with at some point.
Absolutely. Let's do it. I will definitely watch it.
All right. So let's talk about Skeleton Crew. Now, 8 episodes. We have come a long way, 7 weeks or so. And we are now at the finale. So last we left, after the last episode, Jod ignited the lightsaber in front of the parents and the kids, and he's trying to get his pirates down to the planet. So let's get into it. I guess, Hannah, overall, just this episode, what did you think?
What an ending. What a way to tie in everything that they've used along the way. We got Kim again. We got the X-Wing fighters. We have... we finally got the truth out of Jod, and none of us are really that surprised. I was puzzled for a second when the supervisor said, well, the last order we heard is that all Jedi are a threat to the Republic. Which immediately tells you where this takes place. These planets have still not heard about what Luke has done to change thoughts on the Jedi. So it's like, so what are you being untruthful about?
Yeah.
That's huge. I love the final shot of Wim looking up at these X-Wing fighters. I wouldn't be surprised if he became a fighter for the New Republic at some point, because that just is now his new dream. You have Neil using one of those big laser guns that he learned how to use at Akron. You have Wim riding the bike and actually conquering riding the bike. Mm-hmm. Pirates attacking there's so much going on between, and you can sense the tension and the fact that these kids are heroes and they want to do X, Y, and Z, and they want to help save the planet, and their parents are like, we got to be worried about your safety too, so hold on, pump the brakes.
Yeah.
I really liked it, and I think the way that this episode ended, this could be the only season we get of Skeleton Crew, but there are some open doors for the future. First off, you have to now rebuild at Aten, and now you're exposed to the entire galaxy. Also, what happened to Jod? Jod's just standing up there in the tower. Like, What
Right.
happens to him? So there are open doors to have this story continue, but I think this is the only season we're getting of this.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there.
What were your other thoughts on it? I enjoyed it. I really do like this series a lot. It's
I
just fun.
Yeah, this episode first, I did like the episode. I think, I was watching it with my daughter and we were laughing out loud. It was a good, exciting episode. I still have I gotta be honest, I think and I've only watched it once, so I need to kind of let it sit and watch it again. But at first, I will tell you that I still kind of feel a little underwhelmed about the supervisor being this big old droid.
Yes, I think that's a conversation, a topic of conversation alone. Is that were they all droids? Like droids are like that just brings a whole new conversation of the sentient aspect of droids alone. Like that brings that up.
Yeah, I guess it could. Yeah. I mean, I think just the problem, the thing about, I'm curious about, because we know that from the last episode or so, we know that the adults, they actually know everything that's going on.
Yes.
So they know what they're making. They know about the Republic, all that. And apparently they know about the supervisor. I mean, she was not, the mother was not surprised at all, right? I mean, she knew that. So it's just kind of curious when did a droid was appointed to rule over a society, basically. Not that it's a bad thing, because I guess Ad Aden seems very nice to be at, right? It's not like they're being tortured or, forced into doing stuff. I mean, they're doing stuff for apparently the Republic. And it's no different than, like a group of military people going to a base and you're stuck on a base and just doing your mission, right?
Yep.
These people are, I don't know if I'm assuming they chose to do this line of work and chose to be there and things like that. Does make me wonder, does that mean there was a droid controlling every one of those planets?
I mean, that's the question. There didn't seem to be any evidence of a droid at Akron. So do you
correct,
think
right? Because when you walked into that sphere, it was a different setting, right? It was like, it looked very prestigious. It looked like, like what a president or somebody would, live in. So that's what's interesting. Like, I thought that was interesting. Like, it seemed like they're not all the same. They all look like they have the same things, but they all, and I don't believe maybe any of them had mints. Looks like Ad Aden is the only one that was like making money, And I'm still, that's one thing I was talking about in on our Facebook group too, is talking to a couple people in there. Like, I want to know, I'm dying to know something I really hadn't asked in all of the Star Wars years is how does currency actually work in Star Wars?
Seriously, someone please tell us. Like, it's so confusing. And it doesn't, I don't see how it equates how we treat currency on Earth.
Yeah, I don't know either. Because it seems like with there being, 1,139 vaults filled with these credits, I guess, maybe that doesn't seem like a lot, but it seems like a lot.
That seems like a
lot. And just like our currency, like when you're printing more, you're reducing the value, obviously, right? So,
well, also keep in mind, we're not talking about like gold bricks. We're talking about these itty bitty little credits.
Right. And what is that? Is that like $1 per credit? Maybe, I don't know.
I have no idea.
You're right. So how much can you get with one credit? And he may know, and Jod obviously thinks that it's treasure. It's unlimited treasure, which it is. Technically, you can buy whatever you want. I mean, you can go wherever you want, do whatever you want with all this
Yeah, they're
money.
mint edition.
Yeah. But like I was talking to somebody and or it might have been on with Martin, but it was, you can go back all the way to episode 1 when Qui-Gon's trying to buy hyperspace parts from Watto, and he's like, well, how are you going to pay for this? He goes, I got Republic credits. He's like, Republic credits aren't no good here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's parts of the galaxy where these credits don't even work. So how is it that valuable, right?
How do you do trade? How do you barter? Like,
and the fact that these credits probably have been sitting here maybe the entire time of the Empire, because the Empire wasn't using them.
Yep.
They had the whole Imperial credits. So, which means they were probably making that somewhere else. Who knows? I don't, but those aren't definitely valuable anymore because they're not taking those. But now you're reverting back to these old Republic Dactaries is what they call them, right? Credits, right. Dactaries. But so that part, I just want to learn more about that part. It doesn't really take away from the show, but I do want to learn more about the currency and the value of all this stuff. Now, and in the end, I mean, I think I get why they did it, but in the end, I wonder what was the value really of having Jod have force powers. Because I think back to the whole series and like if you take the force aspect out of it and the force abilities out of it, would it be the same show? And to me, it would be the same show.
I don't know, because the force makes Wim look up to him, and it makes the kids trust him right away because they're like, oh, he must be a Jedi. He's trustworthy. And then they learn at the end that that's not necessarily the case. I think also the force at the end made him more terrifying, and it raised the stakes. Because it wasn't as simple as he'll shoot you. It's no, he could, if two of you tack him at once, he could throw push one of you and shoot the other.
Yeah.
To me, I don't think it would be the same. I think it raises the stakes, and it also takes Wim on a journey because he's always wanted to be a Jedi, and now he's like...
But he was already on that adventure before he even met Jod.
Right. But they found meeting an actual Jedi helped convince Wim, or have Wim convince everybody else, hey, he's a Jedi. We can trust him. He's a good guy.
Yeah, Yeah, maybe. I think the and that would, to me, that would be the only reason, because I think what it meant for Jod, it didn't mean anything, because the fact that he never used it other than in front of the kids, because if you notice, he never did anything in front of the pirates.
No, he didn't.
So there was a reason why, for some reason, he kept it from them. So, which kind of I think questioned to some people I've seen, that they were like, well, maybe he's faking it, like he's using magnets and stuff like that. But apparently he was. Now, I think the meaning, I get the reason, but so he's obviously never was a full-fledged Jedi. He never went to the temple. He was never meeting with as a youngling and stuff like that. He was individually trained by, it sounds like a Jedi, a former Jedi in hiding, in a sense. Sounds like possibly right after the Clone Wars or something like that.
Right.
Somebody found him and knew that he was force sensitive and trained him a little bit, but so he never got the aspect of actually being a Jedi and
even a Padawan,
the compassion side of it and all that stuff, right? Yeah. So that again, it didn't really bother me. It doesn't bother me that they gave him force powers, but to me, it just didn't really. I feel like this show was pretty much what it could have been, the same thing basically without him having that, because again, he didn't really use it to really help anything. Like even I mean, even the time when they went to at Akron, right, and he saved the kids there. He, you know, 33 was attacking Neil, and he just ran and jumped and turned him off. It's like he physically did things more so as much as he did use the Force, right?
But he's also limited in what he can do with the Force.
Well, he's limited to turning things off and on. Like technically, he could have force pushed 33.
Yeah, that's true.
He could have turned him off. You know, things like that. It's like what you know, you're deciding one way to do one thing and then another way to do the other. But again, he could have forcefully used the Force, especially at the end there, if he really wanted to take over the place. But
yeah, he could.
All things aside, I think it was an interesting story. I think that I think it ended very abruptly with some open-ended, obviously, storylines. Like what happens to Jod? Does he get arrested? Does he find his way? Because it even shows him having like this little smirk when he's standing there. Like he knows like he's going to get away, or he knows he's going to get off planet.
I have no idea.
And then Wim, of course, you know, like you said, Wim kind of just staring out there. I kind of, part of me is like, I was waiting for that last like kids moment, like the Goonies moment where they're all kind of together and they're all walking together or something like that. You know, I thought that would have been a good ending, but this felt a little bit more open-ended actually. Like there could possibly be a season 2, you know?
Yeah, I agree. But I think also if it ended like this, nobody would be mad.
Well, I agree with that. And unfortunately the numbers have been coming out and this is the lowest viewed series.
No, are you serious?
Yeah. Even lower than Acolyte.
Wow.
So look, that's the thing. What's odd is that it's got less views, but I feel like it's got all positivity in a sense, right? There's hardly any negativity. I have not heard a
single bad thing about this show.
Right. So it kind of, I don't know what's better, right? Is positivity better or is it viewership better? Because Acolyte got a bunch of views, but you had just as much hate as you did praise, right? So
man, yeah. What do you do with that?
Well, ultimately, I think you have to look at the viewership and you have to move on. But
yeah,
that's unfortunate, you know, because I think this also suffered because of the Acolyte. Like you had people that didn't like Acolyte, so they're not even going to watch this.
Yeah, they're like, I don't even know what this is about. Why the heck would I watch it?
Right. And part of me is like, this is a Filoni thing, right? Filoni helped produce this thing with Favreau. So I can totally understand why there is a Force aspect because Filoni's going to put the Force in here regardless. So, because to be honest, I would not have been surprised if the creators of the show, when they went to them, that they didn't have this included, the Force.
Maybe not.
Because their thing was kids and pirates, right? But it's possible, I feel like this is something Filoni might have said, look, we got to have some aspect of it. And maybe they suggested what you just said. You know, maybe it was like, well, we got to give Wim a reason to follow this guy. Well, let's make him a Jedi and that's the thing. So I got to believe, if it was just me hearing these guys talk, I got to believe that this wasn't actually part of the original idea, but kind of got shaped into it. So.
Okay.
Huh. But I don't know. Overall, where are you kind of ranking this series kind of overall compared to the other series that have been out there?
I would put it a little bit above, not a little bit. I would put it above the middle, above average, but I wouldn't be like. In my opinion, it's still not as good as Andor. It's still not as good as Mandalorian season 1. But I really liked it. Like it was just a lot of fun. And I think that's why I won't necessarily put it in the top 3, but maybe it would make number 5 in the top 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like it's it feels very much, those movies you go to because you're like, I don't really have to think a lot while watching this. I just am gonna,
Sure.
I'm watching this to have fun,
Yeah.
and it's not
Sure.
corny fun. I'm not like, oh, I'm just gonna ignore that plot hole. It's like an
Hmm.
actual solid fun ride.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's how I view this show.
Yeah. I agree with you there. I agree with you there. I do think that there a lot of kids would really like the show if they haven't seen it yet,
Absolutely,
especially
absolutely.
young teenagers. I think, like I said, my 15-year-old daughter loves it. So I think I would probably. I mean, like, are you putting this ahead of Obi-Wan?
I probably would put, like, if you said, hey, you had to choose one to rewatch, I would definitely go with Skeleton Crew over Obi-Wan.
What about Ahsoka?
Definitely Skeleton Crew over Ahsoka.
Wow.
Like, I don't even have to think about it. Like, definitely. If you're
Wow.
like, oh, do you want to watch this or this? I'd go Skeleton Crew. Do you want to watch this or this? Skeleton Crew.
Okay. I'm assuming Acolyte too.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I really wanted Acolyte to do well. Like, there was so much potential with that. There really, really was.
Now, how would you compare it to? How would you compare it to an animated show like Bad Batch?
I think it depends on the season of Bad Batch.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Fair. So I think. I mean, I'm. So I still have two lists, right? I have
Yeah.
my favorites, and then I have what I think is quality, right?
Right.
So, I mean, Andor, I think, is the best series that they've put out.
Yes.
I still think probably my favorite is probably Obi-Wan.
Right.
So as far as my favorites list,
Yeah. Where would you rank this?
I'm not putting it in front of Obi-Wan. I'm not putting it in front of Ahsoka. I am not putting it in front of Andor. And I'm not putting it in front of Mandalorian.
So it would be number 5.
So it's probably above Boba Fett. Probably above Acolyte. I think that's all of them, maybe.
Bad Batch.
Well, I was thinking live action, but
Oh, live action.
but if you're throwing it in there, I'm not putting it in front of Bad Batch. I love Bad Batch.
So it'd probably be number 6 for you then.
Probably somewhere in that 6-7 range. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, to be honest though, I want to rewatch. I want to rewatch Acolyte again, and rewatch this again because there's definitely parts of Acolyte I liked.
Oh, of course. There were some excellent moments in Acolyte.
Yeah.
I
So
just think they got to the. I honestly do believe they got to the meat of it too slow.
yeah, and I really don't. Again, I don't really like the way they portrayed the Jedi in that.
No, I you can portray the Jedi in a corrupt way, but there is a way you can do it that's not off-putting to the majority of your audience.
Yeah. 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 So okay, yeah. So there you go. We are done with Acolyte.
You mean Skeleton Crew?
I mean Skeleton Crew. Yeah. Skeleton Crew.
It was fun. What a ride.
It was fun. And it's funny because during being out during the holidays, it made it fly by, right? Cuz
It did.
you've got the holidays going on and all this stuff and you're traveling, I'm traveling. It's like and then all of a sudden it's over. But I will go back. I've already talked to my daughter. Like she wants to go back and rewatch it and see it again. And now it'd be good to watch it like back to back and then see. But we also sat down and agreed that we're going to rewatch Andor before
We have to.
season 2. So I am going to rewatch that because I am pumped about watching that again because I love that show.
So good.
So good.
Good.
All right, everybody, let us know what you think about the finale. I think we got, I forgot to mention, let's see, got a couple comments from our last episode here.
Oh, okay.
Of course, from Thrawn says, I like the recasting of Balin, not who I would have thought initially, but the actor was great in Game of Thrones. I also heard a scoop from Kristen Harloff podcast, which usually uses reliable sources. They said Hayden and Ewan McGregor have been cast for season 2 of Ahsoka, as well as the girl who played young Ahsoka. Yes, we just mentioned that. If this is true, then we will get more great flashbacks. Yes. And then he says, I loved episode 7. You see Jod go full bad guy in this episode, and I'm not sure they can redeem him with one episode to go. I know most people thought Jod would be good and perhaps save the kids in the end, but I actually think it makes a nice change for a bad guy to have no redemption. See too much of that in Star Wars like Vader and Kylo.
Agreed.
Saying that, I wouldn't be surprised if the supervisor is really bad and tries to get rid of the kids and Jod Jod has a change of heart and tries to save them.
Oh.
The vaults looked awesome and reminded me of Gringotts from Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like the vaults and stuff like that there?
Yeah, it's the vaults under the bank.
I like that they had 1,139 vaults, which is a nod to 1138, George Lucas film. In regards to the Old Republic credits and the New Republic clearly being aware of this operation, I need to know more. Are you making them for the New Republic to put them into circulation for the entire galaxy? Surely, if you can make this amount of credits, the more you make, the less they are worth. I really hope they tell us everything in this final episode. Well, they didn't. I do think the supervisor is the pirate captain, and he is just a different species that lives a long time. Apparently, the supervisor's voice is Stephen Fry. So it'd be good to go back and listen to the pirate captain hologram to see if the voice matches up. Thanks again, and hope you guys have a good new year so far. May the force be with you. I was convinced that the pirate captain was the supervisor.
I was convinced too. I was like, I was either that or it's a Jedi that's like a Yoda species that lives forever.
That's funny. Yeah,
those were my two guesses.
Which again makes me kind of wonder why they scrambled the image of the captain. You know, like why didn't they just show us who the captain was? I don't know. You know, I guess that's a good way of like making us speculate. Whatever, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for going through the journey of Skeleton Crew with us. We definitely got some other shows to do, so be on the lookout for some more Beyond the Sagas and Council Sessions and Dark Knowledge coming your way on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Inside the Force. Definitely on the docket for Beyond the Saga. We're going to continue some comics. We've got the Rise of the Red Blade to knock out. We've got Thrawn Ascendancy, the second book, to knock out. I started, in fact, I forgot to text you, Hannah, yesterday. I started The Glass Abyss, the Mace Windu novel.
I'm going to have to start that one.
It's very short, actually, so I thought I think it's an audiobook. It's only like 11 hours, maybe.
Oh, okay. So we'll get that knocked out.
It's not bad,
fast.
So I thought I'd give that a try, and then I'm hoping to do that one and maybe squeeze in another one before Reign of the Empire comes out next month, because I am definitely doing that.
Very excited for that one.
In fact, if everybody wanted to see, I think they released an excerpt from Reign of the Empire that's out there now. You can probably read a piece of that centered around Mon Mothma a little bit. So pumped for that. Can't wait for that. All right, Hannah, thanks as always for joining me.
Thank you, Dave, as always, for the invite.
Yes, well, you're on this thing, so we're here. See you guys next week. Of course, check out our my take with Martin on the Mandalore podcast, the finale here this weekend. We'll be recording on Sunday. Catch that on Monday. He's not too thrilled about this finale, apparently. So,
I can't wait to listen to this one.
Yeah, he's not too thrilled, I don't think so. All right, everybody. See you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Take care. May the Force be with you.